So what's the video called? How rentahitman.com fooled people into jail. Okay, let me get my emphasis on this already. Who the fuck thought, oh my god, there's a website that lets me rent a hitman? Who the fuck thought this was legal in the first place? Anyone who signed up for this, who the fuck thought this was legal in the first place?
Rentahitman.com.
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 I'm the webmaster of Rentahitman.com.
When?
She's 18. She went on a website to hire a hitman.
This website is nothing more than a parody, but it did put a bunch of people behind bars.
Jesus,
The
you're not
question
even.
is
Well, thank you for pointing out the
how?
obvious.
Before
Question
we get
is
started,
how?
I just wanted to shout out Wavy Webster about her
No.
passport. Although
Okay.
she was stuck in a foreign email from a stranger, the person in question was a British woman named Helen, who was located in Canada,
Oh my
stranded
God.
without her passport. Although she was stuck in a foreign country with no way to get back home,
Can I just point out that this was probably a website? You know what? Let me do some like quick research on my phone real quick. When the fuck did this shit release? When did Rent a Hitman release? When did Rent a Hitman release? When did it release? 2005. So this was around the age where people weren't really aware of what the internet could do to you. Hi Amanda, how's it going? So basically, I think this was just a bunch of teenagers or old people that were like going on this website, and they weren't really thinking twice about what consequences the internet could have. Which, by the way, we've all kind of fell a victim to that. We've all became a victim of the internet at some point, and we all learned what the internet's like.
she didn't ask for help
But these
because
people
she
kinda
had
had
a
it the
different
unfortunate
goal
way.
in mind. She wanted her family members back home out of the picture, gone. Helen found the website
Why?
rentahitman.com and took the URL for what it was. Her request: she
Rent
wanted to
escorts do.
rent a hitman. In her email, she
Well,
requested
escort-
the
if you
services
want an
of a
escort,
hitman to
you
take
rent
out
security.
3 of her family members in the
That's called
UK and
security.
claimed that her family screwed her out of her inheritance. And now
Okay.
she wanted revenge. But Bob, the owner of the
Wow,
site, didn't
okay.
respond. He had no idea if this woman was actually serious about all this or if this was just another one of the prank emails he was so used to opening. But Helen
Oh my
wasn't giving up
God.
so soon. She asked again, and this time she sent Bob all of the personal information of those family members, including their full names
Jesus
and addresses.
fucking
so
Christ.
Bob took this as a sign to take action. He sent her a reply.
Can I rent a
back.
girl
"You
hitman
still
into my
require
house?"
Our assistance. We can place you in contact with
Actually-
a field operative. Helen thought that this was it.
Actually, fun facts, there are websites like this that exist. Not Rent a Hitman, but there's like actually lots of crazy sites. One of the there's legit websites that lets you rent a girlfriend. I'm not joking you. You can rent a girlfriend or a boyfriend. There's also websites like there was this one that got popular around last year where it was literally renting it was like for women. It was to rent a very muscular guy to basically hug you and cuddle you. And there was a lot of women paying for that, believe it or not. So once again, there's that. You'd be surprised how many crazy websites there are that like basically let you rent the weirdest shit ever known to man. And once again, these websites kind of just feed on your loneliness, which is hilarious. Hi, Father. How's it
Her
going?
wishes were finally coming true. She was getting a field operative on the job, a real trained professional. But what she didn't know was
Jesus
this
Christ.
was not a hitman. In fact, the operative on the other end of the line was the law itself. And just
Of
days
course.
later, Helen was locked up because Rent a
What were
Hitman
you
wasn't real.
expecting?
It's nothing more than a spoof. And Bob didn't assign a hitman to the case, but rather the police. What is
Wow.
Rent a Hitman? Established in 2005, Rent a Hitman was a
Okay,
website meant to
2005,
give people
like I
easy
said in the
access to
website.
contract assassins without having to use the dark web. With an easy to navigate
Okay, for those of you who probably missed out on this era, I did used to be a dark web surfer, and I've seen lots of messed up stuff. You, by all means, do not want to go on the dark web. Do not, because I went on a dark web on an old ass laptop, never went on it again. You do not want to see the most disgusting, horrid shit you could see on the dark web, especially like if you like saw a link there or anything. Just do not touch anything. Hi, Mateo, how's it going? So, by all means, Never ever look it
website,
up.
customer testimonials, and
Never
even
look
a
into it,
careers
basically.
page. It seems like Rent a Hitman has taken an unconventional business model and transformed it into a real service. But what some unsuspecting people don't know is that all the information on the website is a lie, or rather a parody. Rent a Hitman was not an actual hitman service. In fact, if you take a deeper look at the site, you can probably tell that none of this was meant to be taken seriously.
There's several red flags on the website.
Why? If you were to plan a murder or an assassination, there's like you'd have to go through tons of precautions. Let's be honest, right? Like I'm not saying I wouldn't do it, but you know what I mean. If I wanted to go murder someone, I'd be super goddamn careful and sneaky with it, right? But why? Why go on a website that might possibly require your information and shit if you want to even rent one in the first place, right? I mean, doesn't everyone know that you don't even like what? Like, don't people learn lessons from Breaking Bad? You know, submit your shit on the internet. Everyone does shit by word to word, mouth to mouth, and they don't fucking use the internet or let their information leak. Like, has no one learned from that? I don't actually know. I don't think Breaking Bad was out during the time. Breaking Bad came out like around the 2010s, so somewhere around there. But still, it's like,
There's a banner
oh my
ad that
God.
opens up
I actually never played the
new
Hitman
browser
games.
window
I
for the
wasn't
Internet
really too
Crime
interested in
Complaint
them.
Center that's run by the FBI.
On the front page, the site claims to be compliant with HIPAA, or Hitman Information Privacy and Protection Act of 1964, which, if you look it up, is definitely not what HIPAA stands for. The real origin of the website dates back to February 5th, 2005.
Even I would have been fucking confused. I'd be like, wait, it's legal to hire someone to kill someone? Isn't that called the military or something?
Bob Inez bought the domain for just $9.20. He and his friends
Dark
were
web
working
better than
on
Rule
an
34?
IT training
Possibly.
program.
And it was a play on words.
Actually,
Rent
no,
as
not
in
really.
hire us. Hit as in web hit. Visitor, traffic, analytics.
The team carried out hits on the online security measures of other companies, so they decided to call themselves Hitmen, which led to the infamous Rent a Hitman. After the program was completed, Bob ended up keeping the domain in hopes of selling it in the future. But when no one wanted to buy it, Bob decided to just repurpose the site into a joke Hitman service to go with the name. He even opened up a form on the site for people to submit their inquiries, comments, and requests. For years, Bob left
Okay, that's the shit I was talking about right there. If you see this, this is a fucking bait. This is where you should have considered that this was a bait to begin with. Why would you submit your information if you're literally trying to hire someone to kill someone? Like, did that not process through anyone's brains? I mean, it probably did, but then there was just the unfortunate people that didn't even use their brains to begin with. Like, come the fuck on.
For years, Bob left the site running without ever touching it again.
Once again, this isn't in 2005. This is in 2005. Not many people were smart with the internet.
Emails to the associated email address. Others weren't as good as taking the hint and sent in real inquiries about hiring a hitman. Bob ended up receiving dozens of actual hitman
You
requests.
would never submit your information to a non-verified website or anything like that nowadays,
desperate to find someone
because your
to get the
information
job
is
done.
never
He got to a
safe.
point where Bob was genuinely concerned about
Even
the
though with like
well-being of
Google
some
and
of
shit, your
these
information is never
targets.
safe.
Bob Inez showed us his pages.
I mean, how do you think scam callers end up finding your number, right?
This is just a lot of solicitations from people around the world.
He decided to take action and prevent anything bad from happening to these people. That's why he started cooperating with law enforcement to ensure that anyone sending in an actual hitman request would get dealt with accordingly. He started keeping track of people's information, even sending fake emails back to them to try and help the police.
Wouldn't the smart move to be just take down the website entirely? Wouldn't that have been the smart move to avoid all of these hitman hirings or whatever? Because let's think about it, right? Like the temptation for someone to hire a hitman in the first place wouldn't have been there. Why didn't he just take it down? Did he just want to catch criminals to prevent them from doing something in the future? Like this is something a little confusing now at this point. If a guy just made this as a quote unquote parody that turns out it's attracting actual psychopaths. So
get one step
now it's a little
closer to
confusing here.
catching them. It said that the site has prevented over 150 possible hits from actually happening. Bob constantly monitors the site's associated inbox.
150. What was that in the span of a fucking few months or something? I don't know.
To make sure that anything that
I don't even know what
raises
the hell
any
that
red flags
I don't
is
even know what the hell that
immediately
is.
reported to the authorities.
How do you describe yourself?
Cyber Crusader is, yeah, I'm the webmaster.
Cyber Crusader is such a fucking name you'd see as a fucking Xbox, as a fucking Xbox user and all that shit.
Solution.
And while most people by this point have realized
Oh
that
my
Rent a
God.
Hitman is nothing more than a gimmick, some people still try to use the site as a legitimate service, one of them being Xandra Ellis,
Who the
the
fuck?
fake assassin. Before we talk about Xandra, I want to thank this
Fake
video sponsor,
assassin?
War Thunder. War Thunder is a vehicle
War Thunder. Okay, I swear to fucking God. Every time I fucking saw War Thunder, I tried to play this game once. It fucking failed. I couldn't drive anything worth a fucking shit. The first time I even jumped on a fucking plane, it fucking got crashed. It crashed. I crashed it. I fucking crashed it because I couldn't do shit. Oh my God. I couldn't even fly a plane worth jack shit. As soon as I took off, I just crashed immediately. Jesus Christ. What is this? There we go.
that MMO game with over 2,500
it used to be all over.
tanks, planes,
That's why people making
helicopters,
content
and
that's
ships
educational.
from early 20th century. A tank to
I
kits
make whatever
and
content I
wiki
choose to
description.
make.
Only
Simple
for
as
a
that,
limited
man.
time. On June
What is this?
30th and 7th.
Okay.
On June 30th, 2018, Bob received a service request from a woman named Jasmine Brown. In her message, Jasmine requested the
Jasmine
help
Brown.
of a hitman to get rid of a woman whom she named BH. In the request, she also attached BH's personal
Jesus
information and
fucking
social
Christ.
media handles to help aid the mission. Although the name on the form was Jasmine Brown, Bob was quick to realize that this name was nothing more than a cover-up name.
Okay.
That's because the email address and phone number used were associated with someone with a
Interesting.
completely different profile. Someone named Xandra Ellis. In her request, Xandra, aka Jasmine Brown, claimed that BH had been trying to harm her, so she wanted to catch her blindsided by striking first, which is why she wanted to enlist the help of a professional, one that could
Hi,
get
Lev,
rid
how's it
of
going?
BH once and for all. Realizing that Xandra had every intent to go through with this, Bob
What?
took on a fake name himself and got into
I can understand a mother's instinct to protect her child and her family, but like it makes no sense. Good you. I'm just reacting to a video called people falling for a trap called Rent a Hitman. It doesn't make any sense to really just tell a hitman this person tried to harm my family and provide no evidence, because like, as for the hitman, they could possibly risk killing an innocent if there's no evidence, right? But at the same time, it's like, okay, if this person's trying to harm your family, then just call the police, right? So it's, once again, I feel like people didn't really think straight when it came to like this crap, right? Like, once again, I don't understand how people really were on the internet back in this age, because once again, the internet was still kind of fresh to a lot of people. But like that almost don't add up. That's just a woman that's a psychopath at that
Pretending
point.
to be a hitman named B.I., Bob replied to her message. First,
B.I..
he asked the woman why she called herself Jasmine Brown, since the email that she used was connected to the name Xandra Ellis. Xandra was prepared for this question. She told Bob that the email that she was using was a fake name to protect her real identity. While Bob didn't believe this, he played along. He handed the reins over to the FBI, who assigned an agent to go undercover and catch Xandra red-handed. The FBI agent took on the role of Ace, a fake hitman at the Rent a Hitman service. He then contacted Xandra via text message asking if she was still interested in the services she had requested online. Almost immediately, she replied. Xandra was definitely still interested, but the only issue with her was the price. The FBI agent, posing as Ace, informed her that it would be $1,000 for the job, with a $100 upfront payment to seal the deal. This was something she could do, and she even negotiated with the FBI agent Ace to pay the rest in $250 installments.
Okay, $1,000 for an assassination. It's kind of interesting, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't want to like. There's no point to dig into this, but let's try to imagine it, right? you're charging $1,000 to kill someone. I would charge more. You want to know why? I don't mean to sound like a psychopath, but when you kill someone, you need to not you need to then prepare cleanup. You need to get rid of the evidence, like cleaner cost and all that kinds of shit. So you would charge more than 1,000. You would, because killing someone and then hiding the evidence in the body would actually take so much. Why do I know this? Because let's just say I've learned too much on the internet. So what's the entire point? Someone tried to hurt her family? Am I getting that right? Yeah, basically. And she's hiring a hitman to get rid of this person, which is hilarious. She didn't resort to anything else. Either it's a psychopath or something else. I don't know. I guess maybe we might find out a little further in.
Time at a local Waffle House in New Orleans for Xandra to give the down payment. But while Xandra was over the moon that she was finally going to get rid of BH, the victim, what she didn't know was she would end up walking right into her own downfall. A few days later, on July 6th, 2018,
to get a bit overkill to get Agent
40 Waffle House with an unexpected guest. Xandra had brought her own kid
it
to
makes
a
no
meeting
sense
with
at
a
all.
supposed hitman. She spotted Ace
Her
sitting in a
own
booth at
kid?
the restaurant, and she sat down next to him, ready to hand off the cash. But Ace came prepared. Without Xandra knowing, he stashed a recording device on him and picked up their entire conversation to collect it as evidence. During the conversation, the FBI agent was quickly able to find out Xandra's motivations for the job. Turns out that both BH and Xandra had kids with the same guy. This already tense relationship got even worse after the
It's over jealousy. It's over jealousy. Okay, fun fact I'm about to teach you folks, especially you, Limb. Women are massive killers over. Okay, so if you're a guy with a girl and she has an ex-boyfriend or something like that, you're not gonna kill her ex-boyfriend, right? You're not, because if your girl ends up leaving you over your ex, fuck her, right? Who cares? Who cares? You kind of just move on and whatnot, right? But a woman, if a woman sees another woman after her man, she goes murder mode. It's an instinct. It's an instinct. I learned this. I even learned this with my friend Jinx, because I've seen her get obsessed over, like, no, not just Jinx, but my two friends. My both friends, Jinx and Mori. Mori has an obsession over some fictional characters, and when I tell her that other girls also like that fictional character, she gets ready to kill them. I don't know why. It's almost like it's kind of some kind of widow shit. I don't understand. And the same thing goes for Jinx. She'll kill anyone who attempts to go for her man. So it's something like that. It's just an instinct with women. So by all means, never cheat on her or anything like that, because she might kill you. You also might deserve it if you did cheat on her. Anyway, would you say Pepsi or Coke? You know what? I'll let you decide. Which one should I get? Pepsi or Coke? Which one? I have both. I have both in the fridge. Take your pick. Yandere Shalert? That's majority of women. You'd be surprised. A great majority of women have that yandere thing. Let's see here. Which one? Which one? You know what? Before I even bother grabbing a Coke, okay, understandable. I was about to say before I even get a soda. I just had a big glug of water, because I'd rather not kill my kidneys, but yeah. Ooh, okay, I got a Coke.
Two started an intense feud on social media, which caused Xandra's hatred for the woman to get so strong that she wanted to hire a contract assassin. Xandra claimed that the other woman, BH, had been making threats against her and her unborn child, and that by doing this, she was going to keep her family safe. This led to the FBI agent asking if she had anything else to protect herself with. To which Sandra replied, always strapped. This, of course, was also captured in the recording. It didn't take long
Call
for the
the
agent
police,
to gather
you
enough
dumb
evidence
fuck.
to put Sandra behind bars. And when he had finally heard enough, he began the arrest. He cuffed Sandra to the table just moments before she was about to leave the Waffle House. But while Sandra used the site as it was originally intended, others don't just see Rent a Hitman as a service, but rather a possible employer. I want to be a hitman. The job market can be tough, especially for those coming out of military service. But rather than adjusting to an office job or trying something new, this ex-Tennessee Air National Guardsman decided to pursue a job more suited to his talents.
Okay. This, I'm gonna be fairly fucking honest, is entirely reasonable. It may sound so fucked up to say, but I can understand the perspective of being desperate for a job and to take such a crazy extreme measure. Wait, what kind of gun? I hope it's a 45 or a 9mm. I wouldn't know. I guess we're never gonna find out.
His
Believe it or not, I don't really know too much about guns.
2023,
I'm not really a gun guy. I'm more into the medieval stuff.
Went on Rent a Hitman to send in an inquiry. But rather than asking for the usual services, he did something that no one had done on the site before.
According to their criminal complaint, in early February, Garcia submitted a resume and identification documents saying he was, quote, an expert marksman and earned the nickname Reaper.
Instead of wanting to hire a hitman, he wanted to be hired as one instead. After leaving the military, Josiah was in desperate need of money since his family was struggling. He and his partner were about to become parents, and they needed extra cash to support the child. Josiah thought that becoming a hitman would be the perfect profession for.
Honestly, once again, this is what I would like to call fatherly instinct. Because a man will almost do anything to protect and provide for his family. So there's once again, his desperate measure is entirely understandable. Reaper, I hardly knew her.
For him, seeing as he'd had plenty of marksmanship experience during his military days. In his inquiry, Josiah talked about his time in the Air National Guard as an airman first class, and how all that he learned could be applied to his future as a hitman. After his initial message received no reply, Josiah reached out again. This time, Bob couldn't ignore it.
I'm looking for a job that pays well related to my military experience, shooting and the marked target.
Oh my god.
So I can support
nice,
my
how's it
kid
going?
On the way, adding, put me in, coach.
How's it
It was
going?
clear that Josiah had every intention of wanting
we're watching Rent a Hitman.
Pass this information along to the authorities. Bob, under the guidance of the FBI, pretended to be a recruiter and messaged Josiah back.
Oh my god, wow, they were just after as many people as they could. Oh my god. Why is it AI? Is it AI? I don't fucking know if this is AI. I don't fucking know.
The two then went back and forth in a conversation with Josiah incriminating himself more and more with every reply. Josiah laid it out to Bob, telling him that he'd been looking into this career path for a while now since it was good money. And he needed that support for himself and his family, especially
actually, technically, I think it's only good money if,
Bob that
depending how
each hit job
if this was a real contract. Who the fuck's acting like a pure child? Yo, this is like cool thing called like put user in timeout for like 30 minutes anyway. Each job was 5,000. Each job was 5 fucking thousand. Who's that child that just goes like breastfeed me? Actually, no. Why did I even time them now? Just fucking ban him. Oh my god, but still. Mono, can I ask what should have been recorded? The video we're watching right now? What do you mean I'm recording the whole thing? I'm recording the whole thing, but once again, the 5,000 per individual is actually fucking crazy. Per fucking individual is actually fucking crazy. Because that means if you, let's just say, assassinated one person per day. Someone do the math. Sorry, I'm a little excuse me. I'm a little stupid. Let's do that. I got a calculator right here. So every month is about 30 days. 5,000 times 30. You'd be making 150 grand per month if you manage to assassinate one individual per day. So this not like it would honestly be one of the highest paying jobs in the world. But still, like once again, no such thing exists, obviously, right? More than a lot of paychecks, yeah, for assassinating too. But once again, I think like I think just in general, nobody really had there's no such job that's really out there that pays that much per fucking month. I mean, except like being a doctor and shit or whatever. No, actually, no, even doctors don't make that much per month. Only super high fucking rich people make that much per month. Hi, Toto Aoi? Is that from just a Kaiser reference?
$5,000. While all this was going on, the FBI was busy
how's it
setting
going,
up a
Doom?
sting
How's it going?
operation to catch Josiah in the act.
Still though,
They prepared
you gotta
a
admit,
time,
that's a
date,
lot of
and
fucking
place
money.
for Josiah and an undercover agent.
That's a lot
to
of
meet him.
fucking
The
money.
agent would pretend to be a hitman who was there to give Josiah his first ever target. The location that they ended up picking was a local park in Hendersonville, Tennessee. The FBI prepared a convincing fake target packet which contained fictitious photos, information, and $2,500 in cash as a down payment for the gig.
Oh my
On
God.
the day of the meetup, both Josiah and the agent arrived at the spot on time. In the agent's hand, there was a fake target packet. The evidence they needed was now right in front of them. All they had to do was wait for Josiah to take the package and confirm his intent to harm the person shown in the photos. As expected, Josiah took the packet, and allegedly he even asked if he needed to provide a photo after the fact to prove that the job was done. But before he could even get an answer to his question, the police were already on the scene, putting him under arrest. After this encounter, the police then searched his house for further evidence.
Hi, Coco. How's it going?
Because this man hated his mother-in-law so much,
but Penguins
that it landed him
is such
in
a cool
prison.
dude. I love him.
The mother-in-law dispute. In April of 2022, Leif
teenagers.
Everett
Not
Hayman
even. It's
took
it's
the
legit.
issues he had with his girlfriend's
It's legit.
mother to extreme
Fucking.
lengths by attempting to hire a hitman.
Not
on
even.
her.
It's
According
legit.
to Bob Inez,
Fucking.
the man had made multiple requests
kids that are not supposed to be on
his mother-in-law's private
devices.
information several times.
Would
to
you rather
try and get
fight
the
3
job
pregnant
done. In
cows
his
or 2
initial
donkeys
request,
with a limp?
he had written this: "I want her gone now. Too much.
Neither.
I don't
have
like
to do
her.
either.
She's controlling my life." But
I don't
after
have
this
to do
and
either.
a couple of other requests went ignored, Leif started to get impatient, and he made that very clear in his follow-up emails. On April 28th, 2022, he sent a message to Bob's inbox complaining about how no one's reached out to him to conduct the job. "You people are fake. I can't wait anymore. I'm doing it myself."
What?
After Bob read that disturbing message, Bob knew he had to do something. Leif had claimed that he would do the job himself, and if he did, there was no way for Bob to track that anymore. The life of Leif's mother-in-law was essentially in his hands, so he did what he did best. He passed the messages on to the authorities and oversaw an undercover mission to get Leif caught. All of Leif's information was sent and in.
Wait. So he said he went to go do a job without accepting the job. The man was desperate for bloodthirst. Damn. Mono, would you fight 100 Helen Kellers or 1 female elephant? If it's with my bare fist, my guy, I stand no chance against either. No chance against either. Hi, Framboy, how's it going? We're reacting to a video called Rent a Hitman. If Twitch chat go crazy with children, Mono should mob me. No, don't worry. You're one of the well-behaved ones. On the bright side,
Leif Everett Hayman.
at least you're not at least there's not a bunch of fucking children that are like
the agent says that
what
Hayman kept telling
attention,
him he wanted the woman,
desperate for attention because you know their mother
Posing
didn't
as
love
a
them
hitman
enough.
from the website, an undercover agent contacted Leif to get all the details and started gathering evidence for the case. Despite reaching out multiple times for the service, Leif told the agent that he was on an extreme budget. He initially proposed a $200 fee to get the job done, but then dropped it down to $53.
If you missed the beginning of the video, they legit fucking made this website as a joke until it actually started attracting crazy criminals. This was back in 2005. So once again, this was around a time where people were not too intelligent with using the internet. So this is the result. This is the result of what happens when you're not cautious. So it was a lot of dumb idiots and whatnot. Hi, Lincoln. How's it going?
saying that he couldn't get enough money from his
These
girlfriend.
kids,
A few days later,
so
on
we
May
see you, Shirley.
11th,
We're trying to help you.
2022,
We're going
the
to
undercover
bait you.
agent set out to meet
That is
Well, once
fucked
again,
up.
instead of
Even
picking a
worse
public
than crowd
place
control.
like usual. The two had decided to meet in Leif's house in
Well, yeah, no, like I said, this was back in the day. This was back in the day before, you know, the internet changed and whatnot. Yeah, like, once again, the internet back then compared to now, so much more different. So much more different. Like I don't know how old you guys are, but even by like a 4 year, let's just say like kids who are like people who are like 4 years or 5 years younger than me, shit was so different. Excuse me. But shit was so different. What am I playing today? We're playing Warframe after
New
this.
Mexico. And when the agent arrived, it made sense.
They
Why? Because
didn't
Leif
even
had
know
his
if I was
own
alive by
secret
that time.
motives that he hadn't disclosed
Read the title.
to his
Thank you,
hitman.
Framboy.
Leif had been living with a state-appointed guardian and
Framboy.
full-time caregivers, as he had
Let the
intellectual
dragon out of him.
disabilities that required him
dragon?
to have extra help at home. And when the agent arrived, tensions were high
Jesus
between
Christ.
Leif and one of his caregivers. Although the job had been initially just about Leif's mother-in-law, it took only moments for the agent to realize that Leif had other plans in mind. He had more than one enemy and definitely more than one target. Leif made it clear that he wanted the
But
hitman
the
to get rid
dragon?
of the caregiver in question.
Dude, my
even
burps
saying
are
that it
random. I
was
can't
part of
control
the
them all the
theme.
time.
The agent, completely blindsided, didn't know how to react. Leif and his caregiver began getting into a heated dispute. With so much of this not going to plan, the agent decided to abort the undercover mission, driving away from the scene. But still, the original goal remained. They had enough evidence to get Leif charged,
Oh
so
my
that's exactly
God.
what they did. Leif was taken into custody, and while his intellectual disabilities did raise a debate about whether or not he was fit to stand trial, he ultimately
Well, no shit, this guy had fucking disabilities. This guy was literally trying to hire someone to kill multiple people. Holy shit. Fucking... like, I wouldn't even blame the Asian for having to walk away, because, like, you would expect to just, okay, this guy apparently wants me to assassinate someone, but then suddenly he reveals that he wants you to do a lot more than that. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, you did get enough evidence, but you also got trauma with that. Like,
he was deemed competent. He now faces
yeah,
a
early game is still really good.
While Leif
Water.
used Rent a Hitman to get rid of his partner's mother, some
Fucking
people
water.
want to get rid of their actual partners. The difficult divorce. On July 17th, 2020, a Michigan woman by the name of Wendy
Oh no. Of course there's one that involved a divorce. Why am I not surprised at this one? Of course there's one that involves a fucking divorce. Once again, boys, take it from me. Take it from me. Women are vicious, and they'll always be the one that'll try to kill you.
Wendy Wayne offered Rent a Hitman $5,000 to complete a job on her ex-husband. The reason for her request? She caught her husband
Or if you kill
cheating on
Mono
her
water.
with a babysitter. And she wanted him
That's
to
why-
pay for what he did with his life.
Okay.
Wendy reportedly
Remember? Fucking hell. Remember earlier, Limb? Remember earlier how I literally just said, women will kill you if you cheat on them? This is the exact case. This is the exact case. Women will always try to kill you if they find out you cheated on them. It's murder mode. It's murder mode. That when you cheat on your girlfriend, that's it. You just entered survival mode.
offered $5,000 to compensate for the hitman's travel expenses, as her ex lived in a different state, and she wanted to make sure the hitman had enough money to ensure everything went smoothly. A state trooper pretending to be a hitman met with Wendy in a South Rockwood parking lot where she was meant to hand off.
Women nowadays can be random yanders. That's what I
securing the
literally
job,
just said.
Wendy
Good thing
was
I'm
met with
single.
handcuffs, because it didn't take long for her
Wait,
to
what do you mean good thing you're single? What, you're planning to cheat eventually? You think you cheat? What the fuck, my god?
realize that the man in front of her was not a trained assassin, but rather an officer of the law. Although it might seem that Wendy's method to get revenge against her ex is pretty shocking, she's by no means the only person who used the site for this reason. This next case is similar, but instead of trying to eliminate the ex, Devin wanted to get rid of her and her entire family.
You know what?
The breakup gone
Reasonable.
wrong. In early 2018, 20-year-old Devin and his girlfriend were going through a rough breakup. With a 3-year-old daughter also in the picture, the two splitting made their situation even more difficult. And out of the two of them, Devin wasn't going to be the one to get custody. But instead of moving on or trying to get custody in court, he decided to seek out the help of a hitman through Rent a Hitman. He wanted to eliminate his ex-girlfriend once and for all and guarantee that he would be the one to take care of the child. But if that wasn't enough, he didn't just submit her as a target. He sent in the information of both her parents as well in hopes of getting rid of all 3 of them. So February 3rd,
God, he changed Twitch. Welcome to Twitch. Hi, Macon. How's it going?
Bob forwarded his messages to the August County Sheriff's Office. The deputy then disguised himself as a hitman and began communicating with the twin.
I can understand a woman, like, you know, killing a man for a child, but a man wanting to kill for a child, that is uncommon. And I mean very uncommon. That is fucked up to hire hitmen to kill the people who ruined your life. Get good at getting a better life. well, once again, like, Framboy, you're right. But at the same time, you kind of got to understand that this depends on what the person is kind of going through mentally. For example, this guy, if this guy is hiring a hitman to get rid of his ex-girlfriend for his child, there's a lot of shit that happened in the background that we basically don't know. Because let's be honest, right? A man killing for a child is very uncommon. That's more of a mother instinct. So there's background context we're missing here in terms of this kind of stuff, right? So that's why I wouldn't be really too angry at that. This one's more of a mystery case.
On 3 people, saying that he could be a good father to the girl, but his ex and her family were getting in the way. But although Devin wanted more than ever to have the job completed, nothing came of it because he was struggling to come up with money for the service, which meant that money wasn't exchanged between Devin and the deputy leading up to the arrest. To the officer, it seemed like Devin had simply gotten cold feet and no longer wanted to go through with it. But that didn't pardon his original intentions. And on February 12th, 2018, Devin was arrested on 3 counts of solicitation.
That was fucking long ago. Are you gonna start playing?
Wanted to rent
after
a
this video
to take care of a young child. Some people try to use the service for the very opposite reason. The mom who solicited against her son. In 2023, Jasmine Paez did pretty much the worst thing a mother could do by requesting services for her own son. Jasmine, who was only 18 years old at the time, felt like this was the only thing that she could do to preserve her great love story, and that this was a worthy sacrifice to keep her boyfriend by her side. Jasmine, who lived in Miami-Dade County at the time, was dating an 18-year-old named Gamaliel Souza. The two had been on and off for ages, with one thing always causing the two to break up, or rather, one person, Jasmine's son. Gamaliel told Jasmine time and time again that he did not like her child, even claiming that he was getting in the way of their relationship. He disliked the kid so much that he would openly encourage her to get rid of him by any means necessary. He allegedly said, "The kid is the problem. I hope you see that. All I ever wanted was to free you." Their most recent breakup was the final straw. Gamaliel had enough and decided that unless she took care of the job, he wasn't coming back. You do
Are we in Iran? That downright put me fucking speechless. I was not expecting that. I was expecting her to, like, do something for their... I was expecting to hear that she wanted to hire their son into it. Or daughter or whatever. But to make your own child a target? What? What?
Do it and I'll think about coming back, he allegedly said in messages to Jasmine. Jasmine, desperate to keep him by her side, had tried to please him by lying and saying that her son was already out of the picture. But when Gamaliel asked for proof, she couldn't provide that. So unable to give him the evidence he wanted, Jasmine decided that all that was left to do was to actually get the job done for real this time. This is why she went on Rent to Hitman, hoping that she and Gamaliel could finally live happily ever after together. In her initial request, Jasmine stressed this was important and she had a time constraint. She needed the job to be done by Thursday, only giving the supposed hitman a few days to complete the hit. Bob contacted the authorities immediately because Bob was worried that if he didn't reply, she would find another way to get what she wanted. And if she did that, there was no way he could stop her. Bob immediately contacted the Miami-Dade Police Department after verifying all of Jasmine's information. He gave them her name, associated email addresses, and all the corresponding messages that she sent to the Hitman site. But instead of doing something about it, the Miami-Dade police decided not to help. They redirected Bob to Crime Stoppers instead. But Bob persisted, knowing that there was a child
back
in
fully
danger.
now, yeah, welcome back. Oh my god, this makes no fucking
It
sense.
took several attempts for the Miami Police Department to hear him out. They even threatened to send him a cease and desist letter before they took action, but thankfully they got to it in time. Jasmine Paez was arrested for charges of first-degree solicitation and third-degree using a communications device for unlawful use. Shortly afterward, her ex-boyfriend Gamaliel Sosa was also arrested due to how much he pressured Jasmine into doing this.
Oh, no shit, Sherlock. He was literally asking a woman to kill her child. Yes, he deserves to be fucking in prison. He's the one, technically, he's the one that encouraged this. The man didn't. Mono found another satisfying video about woke people getting arrested. You know what? Let's see it. Let's see it. For those of you waiting for me to watch Warframe, I'm so sorry, but still. Oh, God. Oh, we're almost at the end of this video, but holy fucking shit. I cannot imagine. I mean, let me be honest. When I look at his face, or whatever, wherever the fuck his face was, his face basically said, yeah, I'm a genuine selfish asshole. Karens get arrested. Should I send you the link? Send it in the Discord. That's where you can put it in reaction suggestions.
Don't let temporary emotions lead to permanent consequences.
Yeah.
Visual venture. Thanks a ton to War Thunder.
Okay, yeah, that's the end of the video. Holy fucking shit. I like how this became genuinely interesting until we got to the end there. Cause holy fucking shit. Who hires a hitman to kill their own child? That's genuinely scary. You guys gotta remember. You know what's really dumb and stupid about this world is we are all human beings. We are all human beings. And there is crazy psychopaths that walk among us. Yo, I love your videos. I just watched one of your videos where you were playing some game and somehow during a cutscene you turned black. That was my most recent short. Yeah, my character was not supposed to be black, but apparently he was black in that cutscene. But yeah, no, once again, that was fucking crazy. Holy fucking shit. That is Monsters Among Us, ladies and gentlemen. That's just my end of conclusion to that video. Monsters Among Us, and we don't even know who is who. Holy shit.